Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content. Today we're covering something that I got a lot of requests for last October, and I just kind of ran out of time before Halloween was over and I never got a chance to cover it. So I went back through some of my requests from that year and I pulled out this one because I thought it was a really good idea. So today we're going to be talking about The Halloween Tree. This is from 1993. This aired on Cartoon Network. This animated movie was based on the short novel by Ray Bradbury, famous American author. And I didn't know this until I started working on the video, but Ray Bradbury also narrates this whole movie, which I think is really interesting. I actually had never seen this until just now, and I have to say it's probably one of the most underrated kids' movies. Definitely one of the most underrated Halloween movies out there. So let's just get right into it. She says after she's been talking for God knows how long already. Come on, Tubi, play. This is free on Tubi, by the way. If you want to watch it, you can go to Tubi right now and watch it completely free. Tubi as a service is something that I would love to give glowing reviews to. However, now it wants to play now that I'm talking. It tends to give me a lot of issues, which I don't know how much I can complain because all the stuff on there is completely free, but anyway, that's not what this video is about. Let's get into the actual movie. Two things right off the bat. The intro music reminds me of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Tim Burton one. And also, I just really like the art style. It kind of looks like a painting or a graphic novel instead of a animated movie, and it just is really nice. I like it a lot.
It was a small town by a small river and a small lake.
So the movie starts out with Ray Bradbury giving us a very detailed narration of the small town that this movie takes place in
A small northern part of a Midwest state.
Well, the beginning takes place in the small town. The rest of it takes place in... you'll see what I mean. So there's this group of kids. They're all getting ready to go trick-or-treating. It's Halloween night.
Just looking for another broom, Mom.
I like that this girl sticks a broom into her bike so that she can complete her witch's costume. I don't know how safe that is, but it's damn genius if you ask me. This kid's dressed up as a generic monster.
Tom Skelton, you're one lucky boy.
This kid's dressed up as a skeleton, because his name is Skelton.
By the way, Dad, sorry about using up all your gauze.
And this kid is using up all of his dad's emergency gauze to be a mummy. Hopefully nobody has an emergency. So these four friends meet up in the center of town, or just a part of town. I haven't seen the town's geography.
Where's Pip?
And they realize that their other friend Pip, the fifth member of their little gang, is missing, and they run to his house and realize that all the lights are off, and they know something is wrong.
Oh, Pip.
They see Pip being taken off in an ambulance, and then they find a note from him that's like, hey, my appendix burst. Go trick-or-treating without me.
Appendicitis? You can die from that, right? There's a shortcut to the hospital.
So instead of trick-or-treating, because they're very good friends, they decide to sprint off to the hospital, taking a shortcut through this creepy woods to go and visit Pip.
Look! It's Pip!
And then in a very foreboding manner, they see a transparent version of their friend running through the creepy woods.
The ravine was filled with varieties of darkness, night, shadows.
See, Ray Bradbury's backing me up. It's a sketch forest. They come out of the woods and happen upon this very big and very terrifying goth house.
Wait, it's a Marley Knocker. You know, a Christmas Carol.
That's the wrong holiday. But they make their way into this terrifying house where they meet the pseudo bad guy of this movie, who's voiced by the legendary Leonard Nimoy.
Why have you disrupted me and my business?
I never realized how much voice work Leonard Nimoy did until I started covering things for this channel and realized just how much he actually voiced, especially in the 90s, and it always makes me happy.
Oh, I really have no time for this.
Swanky watch. He kind of looks like Squidward. Like a more shriveled, buff Squidward, you know what I mean?
Know why you're wearing bones, boy? Why so dressed up in an ancient mummy's rags?
He's very disappointed in them that they don't know the history behind their costumes, and then we see transparent Pip again.
There must be a million of them. Pumpkins!
And then they go outside and they see a tree with like a billion jack-o'-lanterns growing from it.
A pumpkin tree.
No, a Halloween tree.
That's the name of the movie.
Every nose was a weirder nose. Every mouth smiled hideously in some new way.
That one pumpkin looks like Surprise Pikachu.
Why is he going up the tree?
So Ghost Pip climbs the tree and snatches the one that looks like his face, because every pumpkin is basically representative of a soul, and Mr. Man over here, he's kind of like the angel of death. So Pip is basically trying to take his soul back so that he doesn't die. It's all very dark.
What'd you do with Pip? Where'd you send him?
Yeah, bring him back, Mr. Clavicle?
Mr. Moundshroud.
Mr. Moundshroud, okay. Give us back our friend, Mr. Moundshroud.
Pip's escaped to the undiscovered country.
So Mr. Moundshroud wants his pumpkin back. These kids want their friend back. So Mr. Moundshroud suggests that they kind of go on a little scavenger hunt through history.
What do you know about Halloween? We might be able to catch Pipkin, grab his pumpkin fire soul, and have a scavenger hunt as well.
It's more fun than it sounds. I mean, it sounds fun to me, scavenger hunt through history, but I'm a nerd, so trust me.
1,000 Halloweens wait out there to swallow us whole.
So Mr. Moundshroud points out this barn with all these random old posters peeling off the side of it.
Oh my gosh.
This kid's catchphrase is, "Oh my gosh," by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Like, if you could make a whole drinking game out of every time he says it.
Let's build a kite then, shall we?
So in a dark parallel of Mary Poppins, Mr. Moundshroud is just like, let's go fly a kite. And then they build a kite with, like, tree branches and old circus posters.
Will it fly us?
I thought you'd never ask.
It is certainly an aesthetic. And then they all grab on and they go flying.
Egypt. But it's brand new.
So they fly all the way back to ancient Egypt. I love that Mr. Moundshroud can just fly on his own, like with his cape. He makes the kids take the sketchy looking kite.
Are those real life ghosts?
They prefer being called spirits.
So there's all these creepy looking mummy spirits flying around.
And the food on the porches is for them?
Seems so.
Why, it's good old fashioned trick or treat.
I mean, I guess so? Offerings for the dead, 12-year-old getting a Snickers bar. It doesn't really seem to correlate in my brain, but I get what they're going for.
Hold on, wait! Here we are.
He was trying to get a snack. How dare you? So they chase Pip into this home.
Enter. Sit. You are welcome.
They get graciously invited in. Don't be rude. They've invited you in for dinner. You say thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, hello.
Who's that?
Our great-grandfather.
Grandpappy!
He doesn't look very good.
Oh, I don't think you're supposed to say that.
Oh, he's been dead for 67 years.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Once a year at the Feast of the Ghosts, we invite him out to sit with us.
Don't you wish we had a custom like this back home?
No. Is that actually a custom that they had? I haven't fact-checked any of this, and I'm kind of just... At this point, I just kind of assume that anything that 90s TV taught me was not accurate, especially when it comes to other cultures.
Dinner for the dead.
So then they go chasing after Pip again. Mr. Moundshroud yeets himself overhead, and then they find themselves in a tomb. I almost said sarcophagus, but that's the thing that the mummy lays down in.
You, with the mummy wrappings and mummy face.
Who? Me?
Oh, I hate getting singled out, and it must be worse when it's a talking mummy.
Why do you wear that costume?
He's so dramatic. Why did he have to wrap himself up like that, like a mummy? It feels disrespectful to the mummy.
But what about Pipkin?
It may be too late. They're wrapping him up as a gift to eternity now.
So because this kid is dressed up like the mummy, they send him deeper into the tomb to find Pip. He very awkwardly rescues him from what looks like he was about to be buried alive. Or is he alive? I guess he's like in limbo. Nope. No thanks. I don't care for that shit. Oh, and isn't there a moment where he's like it's like really sentimental and he's like, you were gonna teach me to play baseball.
You said someday you'd teach me how to bat left-handed. Learning to bat left-handed isn't so hard, Ralphie.
Yeah, this scene, it's really sweet. Okay, so anyway, Pip runs off again because Mr. Mountshard scares him like an asshole. And then they go flying off to a different time and place.
Oh my gosh, look down there. Wally, Bab, don't you dare tell me how high we are.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jenny. I hate heights, too. Alright, so now they're in medieval England. They get to witness the celebration of Samhain. I remember that random time that Supernatural thought it was pronounced Samhain. It's not. It's Samhain. But I'm not the one to be policing anybody else's pronunciation, so anyway.
What is this place?
Yo, it's Stonehenge.
People thought that on this special night, those who had died during the year were turned into beasts. Or worst of all, cats.
Hey, don't be hating on cats. And then they witness people making a bunch of broomsticks for witches, and I got very interested because I always thought witches and broomsticks was a much more like modern legend, you know? So I googled, why do witches ride brooms? And I guess some anthropologists do think that brooms were utilized in some medieval pagan rituals, fertility rituals to be exact, which this article that I found by doing a cursory Google search is definitely more on the, let's say, not safe for work side, and they surely weren't going to put it in this movie, so I will move on. But interesting nonetheless.
Broomsticks for witches.
For you.
It is kind of ironic that she's so scared of heights and now she has to fly a real broom.
No, witches everywhere.
Of course. It can't be Halloween without witches.
So Mountshard tells the kids that witches historically were really just healers. They were people that had information.
Anyone too smart was called
A witch.
Exactly. And the really smart ones with the wits, called it magic.
And since that tended to intimidate a lot of people, they got hunted down as witches, you know. Pretty basic overview of witch trials that went on all throughout the Middle Ages.
Magic.
That echo.
In every town, in every tiny village, the old religions hid out,
Oh god, there comes the angry mob.
and all the little lollygagging cults, all flavors and types, scrambled to survive.
Oof, that's super rough. So after this very dark scene, they see Pip flying off on a broomstick. The pumpkin even has his freckles.
Don't fall, Pip. What if I ever need you to talk me down out of an apple tree again, huh?
So Jenny saves Pip from falling and they have their own little moment.
Tighter, Pip. If I ever lost you. Hey, no tears.
And then next, they all end up in ancient France, I guess. Because they're standing at the remnants of Notre Dame where Pip is hiding out.
I have a riddle for you, monster.
Can't you ask someone else?
No.
Now it's, oh my gosh, the monster's turn to have a lesson on what his costume really means.
Yes, places where a running renegade child can hide and take sanctuary.
Mountshard references Hunchback of Notre Dame. Well, you know, the movie Hunchback of Notre Dame didn't exist yet, but that's the famous quote from the book too, right? I never read the book. I could never keep concentration for that long. It's just such a slow book.
There are some places where I'm not as welcome as others.
Oh, so he has to send the kids in alone because he can't step foot in a church? It's like a vampire situation?
So why not finish building the cathedral with your feet?
So he's like, hey, build Notre Dame with your feet, kids. And they're like, huh? And then they basically realize that they have to climb up and just like take a leap of faith. And as they like step out into what would just be air, the bricks of Notre Dame come up to meet them, which sounds horrifying.
There. Much better.
Cool, so they've built Notre Dame. Good for them.
Can't you see what's missing? Monster faces.
He means gargoyles.
Ever wonder why we like dressing up as monsters, beasts, and ornery critters?
So now we get a little quick lesson on the concept of monsters and why they're important in our society.
Monsters remind us of all the dark nights and old fears and nightmares.
Oh no, poor Pip.
Oh my gosh.
I swear they're using the same soundbite of him saying, "Oh my gosh." So poor Pip has been turned into an actual gargoyle along with his pumpkin.
It's gargoyle language. He can only talk when the rain comes out of his mouth or the wind blows over his teeth.
Is that a thing with gargoyles? That sounds very uncomfortable.
You tried, Wally. All of you did. Shut up, will ya? Don't quit.
So there's another heart-to-heart.
Remember that time? Those fireworks I stored in my bedroom? And you took the blame for me. I never thanked you for that.
He took the blame and you didn't even say thank you? Lame. The kids have to ride off after Pip on flying gargoyles. And then we reach the final destination of this traverse through history. Is that a sentence? I think that's a sentence. Anyway, we get to Mexico. The kids experience Dia de los Muertos for the first time.
Look at little funerals for sale. Are those real coffins?
I only know about as much about Dia de los Muertos as the next white person who saw Coco. Like, that's my only frame of reference, so I can't say whether or not they're doing justice to the holiday, but I will say that this feels a little disrespectful, right? Because Dia de los Muertos is, like, about honoring dead loved ones, right? And these kids are just flying through like, whoa, is that a coffin?
Are those real coffins?
Feels irreverent. Tone it down, guys. Be respectful.
Hey, look at the candy heads.
Tell me your name, I give you your skull.
So Moundshroud comes out with sugar skulls, they all eat them, and there's some disconcerting sound effects. Gross. And now Tom Skelton, who is the only one that has not had his epiphany or his heart-to-heart with Pip, gets sent down into the catacombs. You know, he's a skeleton, he has to deal with... You get the drill by this point.
They're alive.
I don't feel like his mouth adequately moved when he said that.
They're alive.
Maybe that's just me. I'm being nitpicky.
Why do you wear bones, skeleton?
Maybe if we face death eyeball to eyeball, it loses its power over us?
That's not why he does it, but that is a very profound lesson. Then he faces off against all of these skeleton mummy types, and he gets to Pip.
All of this tonight is my fault. I once wished for something to happen to you so I could be later for a change.
Oh, that's harsh, Tom.
Don't be silly, Tom. I'll let you leave anytime.
But Pip forgives him, and then Moundshroud just yoinks the pumpkin away from Pip.
Sorry, this never was a contest. Its rent was past due. It's simple and plain.
And he's just like, sorry, Pip's gonna die. Sucks to be you guys. And Pip, I guess.
Mr. Moundshroud, I'll make his payment for him.
And then Tom offers to trade a year off the end of his life for Pip to live. Isn't that sweet?
Take one of mine, too. And mine. I'm in.
Okay, guys, I get the sentiment and I appreciate the message of friendship, but I feel like they need a lesson in bargaining. Like, they didn't all have... He probably would have just taken the 1 year. They didn't all have to give up a year, but very sweet. It's very nice. I like the message a lot. So they all volunteer a year of their lives, and they get Pip back. Poor mummies just wanted to rest peacefully. They're getting disturbed by these kids and this guy with this pumpkin. So they all get back to their small town.
But what about...
Run! See for yourselves!
And then Moundshroud's like, nice doing business with you kids. Bye. And they run back to Pip's house, and the pumpkin's sitting there.
Hi, guys.
Pipkin!
You are alive.
He's alive!
They took my appendix out. And for a while, they thought I was a goner.
Aww, poor Pip.
Well, I had dreams about pyramids. Stonehenge.
Oh, he does remember. That's so cute. Oh, wow. Mr. Moundshroud's pumpkin looks like it's exactly 5,000 years old.
Old Moundshroud blew out one last candle, causing it to flicker and flare.
And so Mr. Moundshroud just yeets away with all of his pumpkins.
That is all but one pumpkin.
Except for Pip's, because Pip gets to live happily ever after with his friends.
Pip's pumpkin, Pip's spirit and soul that was traded for and saved on that Halloween night so long ago.
And that's the end of the movie. Isn't that a great movie? I love this movie. I'd like to thank everybody who requested it. I'm sorry I can't find your original request to shout you out because it was a year ago. But I really would like to thank you guys because I had a lot of fun covering this movie, and I'm going to end this video here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel means the world to me, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so, because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Bye!